Your throat closes. Your fingers itch toward the keyboard. Someone just said something about you, about your work, about your worth. And your body moved before your mind caught up. You're writing the paragraph, the explanation, the defense. You think you're standing up for yourself. You're not. You're feeding the system that just tested you. Every word you type right now is data. Every explanation is a map of your pressure points. Every defense is proof that they control the joystick. The illusion is this, that defending yourself protects you. The reality, the Machiavellian reality, is that defense is the loudest confession of weakness the social world recognizes. Machiavelli knew something 5 centuries ago that you're learning right now at 2 a.m., staring at your phone. The moment you justify your existence to someone, you've accepted their right to judge it. This video will dismantle the script you've been running. No motivation, no affirmations, just the mechanism and the method. By the end, you'll understand why powerful people never explain themselves. And why you've been hemorrhaging status every time you tried. Let's begin. Principle 1, the defense trap. Here's what they taught you in school. If someone accuses you of something, explain yourself clearly. Tell your side. Set the record straight. Sounds reasonable. It's a trap. The moment someone makes you defend yourself, they've already won the frame war. Think about it. Prosecutors don't ask questions because they're curious. They ask questions to make you perform your guilt. When your coworker says, "Why did you leave early yesterday?" they're not requesting information. They're pulling rank. Machiavelli wrote about apparent versus actual power. The ruler who must constantly justify decisions appears weak because explaining is negotiating. And negotiation implies equal standing. When you defend, you accept 3 invisible premises. 1. They have the authority to question you. 2. Your actions require their approval. 3. You are beneath them until proven otherwise. You post something online. Someone comments, "This is insensitive." Most people respond, "That's not what I meant. Let me explain." You just entered their courtroom. You're now on trial. They're the judge, and you're volunteering testimony. Nothing, literally, or if you must acknowledge it, noted. Then move on with your life. The refusal to defend is the defense. Silence communicates. I don't recognize your authority to audit my choices. Principle 2, the reaction economy. Let's talk about what's really happening when someone provokes you. They're attacking you because they have a problem with you. They're attacking you because they discovered your button, and pressing it gives them a dopamine hit. Your reaction is their reward. Carl Jung called this feeding the shadow. When someone projects their insecurities onto you and you react, scramble, defend, rage, you're confirming their internal script. You become the screen they need for their movie. But here's the dark layer. The people who provoke you need your reaction more than you realize. It validates them. It proves they matter. It proves they can move you. Group chat. Someone drops a subtle jab about something you did last week. You can feel your heartbeat spike, fingers hovering. Everyone's watching. Not the jab, but what you'll do next. Most people type, "Actually, if you remember correctly." Congratulations, you just fed the entire room. Starve them. Not with passive aggression, not with "I'm above this" energy, with genuine disinterest. React to the jab the way you'd react to someone telling you the weather in a city you'll never visit. Cool. Then continue the previous conversation as if they didn't speak. Principle 3, the explanation tax. Every explanation you give is a tax on your status. High-value people explain themselves so others understand. High-value people don't explain because understanding them isn't the audience's right. It's a privilege. In The Prince, Machiavelli distinguishes between being loved and being respected. Love requires approval. Respect requires only acknowledgement of capability. When you explain yourself, you're campaigning for love. When you refuse to explain, you're asserting capability. Explanation is a subordinate behavior. Subordinates report upward. Leaders move forward. Dating. Someone texts, "Why didn't you reply for 2 hours?" Most people scramble, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was in a meeting. My phone died. I didn't mean to." Each word is a status transfer. You just accepted that your time requires their approval. You just agreed that 2 hours of your life is their jurisdiction. I was busy. That's it. No apology, no breakdown of your calendar, no negotiation. If they push, busy doing what? Personal stuff. The vagueness is the boundary. If this is dismantling something you've been doing for years, hit subscribe. You're not going back to the old script. Principle 4, the mirror principle. Here's a rule most people learn too late. When you defend yourself, you're not correcting a misunderstanding. You're revealing what you're afraid people believe about you. Someone says, "You're arrogant." Immediate response, "I'm not arrogant, I just have confidence." There's a difference, let me explain. What you just did, you confirmed that arrogant, is a landmine for you. You showed them where your insecurity lives. Machiavelli observed that accusers aren't usually seeking truth. They're seeking leverage. They throw labels like fishing lines. If you bite, if you defend, they know they've hooked something real. Now they know what word makes you move. Now they own that word. Workplace. Someone says in a meeting, "I think we need someone more detail-oriented on this project." They didn't say your name, but you feel it. Most people respond, "Wait, I'm very detail-oriented. Remember the Johnson report?" You just told the room, 1, you feel threatened. 2, you need to prove your competence. 3, your reactive silence. Or, if you must speak, go on. Make them commit. Make them name you explicitly. Make them own the accusation. Most won't. Because the goal wasn't truth, it was watching you scramble. Principle 5, the authority transfer. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you saw someone with real power? CEO, top surgeon, A-list actor defend themselves on social media. You haven't. Not because they're above it, because they understand something you're about to learn. The rule of the battlefield, authority isn't granted, it's assumed. And the moment you ask for it back, you admit you lost it. Machiavelli taught that perceived legitimacy is more powerful than actual authority. A prince who must remind his subjects he's the prince isn't the prince. When you defend yourself, you're asking the accuser to return your status. You've just made them the judge. They now hold your reputation in their hands, and you're begging for it back. Someone tweets your name and has no idea what they're talking about. You quote tweet with a thread, "Actually, I've been studying this for 10 years. Here are my credentials." You just lost. Not because you're wrong. Because you asked a stranger on the internet to validate your expertise. Option 1, nothing. Option 2, block. Option 3, if you're feeling theatrical, thanks for the engagement. Each option communicates the same thing. You don't have the clearance to evaluate me. Principle 6, the burden of proof. Here's the trick they've been running on you your entire life. The person making the accusation should carry the burden of proof. But somehow, you've been carrying it, the illusion. If I don't defend myself, people will believe the lie. The reality, if I defend myself, I'm doing their job for them. In Renaissance Italy, Machiavelli watched princes fall not to superior armies, but to superior narrative warfare. The princes who survived weren't the most truthful. They were the ones who refused to legitimize accusations by responding to them. When you defend, you're accepting the frame that 1. The accusation is credible enough to address. 2. Your accuser is credible enough to judge. 3. The audience can't discern truth without your help. All three are insults to your position. Someone says, "I heard you're difficult to work with." Most people panic. What? Who said that? That's not true. I'm actually really easy to work with. Ask anyone. You just made it real. You breathed life into gossip. Interesting. And then nothing. Or, where'd you hear that? Make them do the work. Make them source it. Make them realize they're trafficking in vapor. The refusal to defend forces them to prove, and most can't. If this is changing how you see conflict, hit like. You're learning a different game. Principle 7, the scarcity principle. The final principle is the most ruthless and the most effective. When someone disrespects you repeatedly, your words won't teach them. Your absence will. Friend cancels on you last minute. Again. Most people text, "Hey, this is the third time." It really hurts when you do this. Can we talk about respecting each other's time? That's not a boundary, that's a seminar. And they're not attending. Machiavelli wrote, "Men ought either to be well treated or crushed." In modern language, you either invest in someone fully or you remove their access to you completely. Half measures don't teach, they just extend your suffering. When you explain why you're hurt, you're asking them to care. You're negotiating with someone who already showed you, through action, that they don't. Stop inviting them, not as punishment, as protection. When they text, "We should hang soon," you respond, "Yeah, maybe." And then you're busy, not fake busy, actually building a life with people who show up. This is the Machiavellian move. You don't argue, you don't explain. You adjust the economics. You make access to you scarce, and scarcity creates value. Diamonds are valuable because they're rare. Your time becomes valuable when it's not freely given to people who waste it. Someone breadcrumbs you texts just enough to keep you interested, never commits. Most people send, "Where is this going? I need to know if you're serious." You're negotiating with someone who's showing you they're not serious. You go silent. You date other people. You fill your calendar. When they notice and reach out, you've been quiet. You respond, "Yeah, been busy." No anger, no explanation, just new terms. Either they rise to meet you or they don't. Either way, you're no longer the one begging for respect. Let's make this deployable. Here's your 7-day protocol. Track every time you feel the urge to defend yourself. Don't judge it. Just notice what triggered it, who triggered it. What were you afraid they'd believe? Write it down. Pick one person who routinely disrespects you. Decide what's the cost of keeping them close. Then build your one-line response script. Noted. Interesting. I'll think about it. Practice it in the mirror until it feels natural. Day 5, the test. Deploy your script once. When they poke you, and they will use your line, then go silent. Watch what happens. Most people will either escalate, which shows you who they are, or back down, which shows you it worked. Day 6, the withdrawal. Identify one relationship where you've been over-explaining, over-giving, or over-pursuing. Pull back. Stop being the first to text. Stop filling the silence. Let them feel the absence of your effort. Day 7, the review. Evening ritual. Ask yourself, did I defend myself today? If yes, what was I afraid of? If no, how did it feel? This is how you rewire, not by reading and reviewing what happened. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince for people who wanted to be liked. He wrote it for people who wanted to survive in a world where being nice gets you conquered. 500 years later, the game hasn't changed. The people who never defend themselves aren't cold, they're calibrated. They understand that in the economy of respect, explanation is inflation. The more you give, the less it's worth. You don't have to be cruel. You don't have to be loud. You just have to stop negotiating with people who already made their decision. The world adjusts to people who know their value. It ignores people who beg for it. If this shifted how you see power, subscribe. We're going deeper next week. Next video breaks down how to make people respect you without saying a word. It's already live. And drop a comment, what change starts tomorrow? Machiavelli once wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Stop explaining who you are. Let them experience your absence. That's the lesson.